Howdy YouTube, WineRob here. If you like this video and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. Today's wine drop is from the Mondovino portfolio. They specialize in wines of Spain, Portugal, and South America. Let's go to Alicante, Spain to learn about Old Vine Dry Farmed Monastrell from Tarima Winery. That's a passion flower on the label. Because Monastrell is just not a widely known grape, and Alicante is one of those lesser known growing regions in Spain. Just so good for that. You get a lot of bang for the buck with these wines. Alicante lies right on the Mediterranean Sea, a few hundred miles north of Africa and just southwest of the island of Majorca. Wine country is a few hours inland. It's all uphill. This map makes it really easy to see how both Alicante and Majorca share the same Mediterranean climate. Grapes love Mediterranean climates. It's dry and hot all summer long, and the winters are mild and wet. Alicante is a beautiful town right on the Mediterranean. All the wine is made inland, and most of it is consumed by tourists. The local specialty is paella, done with fresh seafood, mussels, rabbit, whatever they have on hand. They cook it on open hearth ovens, fueled by grapevine clippings from the vineyards. Tarima Winery lies just outside the small town of Murcia. The landscape is barren and rocky and extremely isolated. Even though we're at 750 meters, that's almost 2,500 feet, all this was underwater at one point in history. Alicante is also one of the driest growing regions in the world, with just 300 millimeters of rain a year. For reference, Alsace is the driest growing region in France, gets about 500 millimeters. Napa Valley, downright soggy at 950. Alicante sits on the extreme end of the dryness scale where viticulture is even possible, and they don't even irrigate. To make things even tougher on a grapevine, the soil is comprised of large limestone rocks over a subsoil of loose, loamy sand. That means it's not very good at retaining moisture, and roots have to go extra deep to find water, sometimes up to 20 meters. Fortunately, Monastrell loves it hot and dry. 75% of all vineyards in Alicante are planted to it. They're bush trained and planted far apart on a 2-meter grid to make sure enough water is accessible for each plant. The vines are compact, low to the ground with minimal canopy and leaves. At harvest, each vine produces just 3 to 5 clusters of small, dark, concentrated berries. Now, let's get to the important part. What's it like in the glass? Monastrell from Alicante is a full-bodied and bold red wine. It's got meaty notes of black cherry and plum, laced with violets, black pepper, dried herbs, think sage, thyme, and lavender. It can trend on the rustic side, so think game, grilled meats, and heartier dishes. Because it's so affordable and it's got such flavorful characteristics, it's a great wine to have around all summer if you're grilling. The first of our 2 featured wines is Tarima Hill. This is the flagship of the winery. It always earns great press. It sees 100% new oak. It's made from vineyards that were first planted in 1935 and 1970. It undergoes fermentation in those barrels, and it ages an additional 14 months before bottling. So it'll cost you a little bit more, but it offers exceptional depth and complexity in the glass. Our next wine is simply called Tarima. Made from the same vineyards, it sees aging in the same barrels used for the previous vintage of Tarima Hill. It's fresher, a little simpler on the palate as well. Both wines are 100% estate-grown, dry-farmed Monastrell. That wraps up today's wine drop, where we highlight wines from all over the globe. Check out WineRob on YouTube. More content is on the way. If you want to see more, please like and subscribe.